business right from go.
And in on the takedown is Keegan right away, and he's looking to continue forward. Again, he was stuffed on the initial takedown and continued to go forward, and that's good work there by Daniel Garcia, taking away that first takedown. And again, Keegan Oliver is very good at the takedown, so if he's not able to take someone down, and just as I said, catches a kick, takes him right down to the ground.
Yeah, you knew that's where Keegan Oliver was going to want to work. Has spent a lot of time in this camp working his jiu-jitsu, trying to get a finish, trying to transition. Again, under the Calgary rules, no strikes to the head of a downed opponent, which does take away a weapon from Keegan Oliver, who's very effective in transitioning to the mount, but it doesn't really do much for you here under the Calgary Commission rules, because once you get to the mount, you really limit your opportunities for strikes and open yourselves up for sweeps.
Well, and the one thing that we really do have to watch is because Garcia is coming from a camp down in the States where they do run under different rules, he may, out of instinct, maybe in the later rounds, land one of those headshots. So, again, if that does happen, it's not that he's trying to cheat. It's just he's operating under a different set of rules here in the Calgary Commission. But Keegan Oliver continues to work forward, and now he's working in. He's worked to half guard. He's trying to pull his opponent off the cage and keep him down on the ground. And a nice slam there by Oliver, keeping Garcia on the ground.
Yeah, Oliver with the nice slam there. Garcia may have gotten into trouble putting his arm down there as he landed on it pretty hard, but doesn't seem to be any worse for wear. And Oliver now in side control. We'll see what he can do from here. Expect knees to the midsection if he can line it up. And it looks like that's what he's trying to do. A couple elbows there. As soon as his coach has called for knees, Garcia very wisely getting a shin in front of that and has now done a very good job of transitioning back into guard, Jeremy.
Yeah, butterfly on the right side. And it looks like Beauchamp is going to call them standing. And Keegan did land some effective strikes on the ground, but it was not nearly as action-packed as Beauchamp would like. So they're back, and Keegan Oliver again stepping in for the takedown, not wanting any part of Garcia's striking.
Yeah, now Oliver does work a lot of boxing and hasn't yet used it. Said he likes to use his boxing skills to set up those takedowns, but you can see just presses right up against him. And that's what we've heard from his opponents all the time. Keegan Oliver is relentless. He'll keep coming forward. He'll keep working. And it may not be the most powerful strike you've ever been hit with, but that doesn't matter. You're getting hit, and you're getting hit constantly, repeatedly, and endlessly by Keegan Oliver, who's done that here in round number 1.
And we're down to less than 10 seconds remaining, and Garcia is confused as to what to do here and doesn't seem to have an answer for Keegan Oliver.
Where he can't continue and gets the job done that way. And a big punch thrown there. Keegan immediately scrambles to the ground, chases the takedown, and secures it up against the cage. Again, no stopping the takedowns from Keegan Oliver.
Well, and there was an exchange there, and I think Keegan was trying to bait him. He shot in and then stepped through and tried to throw a punch, and I think a little bit forward to him because it was a big slip there. And but again, able to, from any position, get to a point where he can take somebody down.
Well, it almost looked, Jeremy, for a moment like Oliver went down intentionally because he knows you can't strike the head of a downed opponent. So he sprawls in, scrambles forward, takes him down, and he knows he can secure that takedown from his knees, and did so.
And good work by Garcia to get up, and now Keegan taking his back. So you can't throw elbows there. This is very smart. Some knees being thrown to the back of the hamstring by Keegan Oliver, trying to wear down the dynamic striking of Daniel Garcia.
And again, Garcia doesn't look like he's all that bothered by the strikes. His face looks almost bored, Jeremy. Frustrated, no doubt, but bored. He looks like, okay, another takedown. Yeah, I get it. You can take me down. But it looks like he's trying to find an opening, and Oliver just not giving it to him, which is what Oliver does.
When I asked Keegan, what would he say to all of his people that say that he just takes guys down? And he said, stop me.
Yeah, and that's the end-all and be-all. If you can't stop Keegan Oliver's takedowns, you're not going to beat him, and that's what he's continuing to do here. A nice transition from guard now into the side control. We'll see if he can transition this into a finish. Again, those hammer fists, they don't mean anything. Nobody, I'm sure not even Keegan feels them on his own glove. But nevertheless, staying busy, and now he's got the back of Daniel Garcia. We'll see if he can keep it. Garcia doing a nice transition around.
And again, up against the cage, and again, the same result, the same takedown. He locks the hands underneath the bum, vacates from the cage, creates that space because Garcia uses that cage to defend. He leans up against it. So if as soon as he leans up against it, you take away the legs underneath, he's going to slide right down. Keegan has done that 3 times in this one round.
Yeah, again, at some point it becomes you don't want to talk about Keegan Oliver's takedowns because you've run out of things to say. But Brian Beauchamp standing them up now with 30 seconds to go, not establishing that Oliver doing enough with his takedowns. And if there is one criticism of Keegan Oliver, that's it, is that when he secures the takedown, he doesn't work to finish the fight. He doesn't work to move forward with the fight. He just works to get his next takedown.
He landed a nice jab there and then gave the arms out saying, give me something. I want you to do something. And another round, and I can't see you scoring it any differently than a takedown.
Or if it's more of the same with Keegan Oliver securing takedowns. And again, an immediate shot, no hesitation, doesn't even think about punching, just drives the takedown. Now he's got the double leg, and we'll see if again it's successful, and yes it is.
And an excellent, it was a high crotch switch to a double. The general rule of things is it's very easy to get one leg, it's very hard to get two, and the vice versa is on finishing it. It's easy to finish with 2 legs, hard to finish with 1. So the high crotch position designed to go in, get that 1 leg, and then switch to 2 once you're in a better position. Keegan Oliver, right in front of us here, is doing an excellent job in neutralizing Garcia, and he's trying to work forward, land some nice shots to the body here. These ones are doing some damage.
Those are punches that you feel, absolutely. Yeah. They're not the weak hammer fists we saw earlier. These ones count, and Oliver landing them there, and again, starting to do more damage from the top. And it's what we talked about earlier, what his coaches said, is as this fight goes on, Keegan will get stronger, Keegan will get more damage, and it's whether or not Daniel Garcia can match it. And now Oliver jumping to Garcia's back, but Garcia doing a nice job with the 2 hands on the one and holding the damage. A nice big punch around, and now Garcia has Keegan down. Keegan trying now to drive off the fence and see if he can secure another takedown. Garcia again landing some nice strikes there, but another takedown for Keegan Oliver.
And right before that strike, Daniel Garcia looked right at us and gave us a wink and said, hey, watch this.
And you can almost see like he's got his one hand down, the hand that's in front of us just down, relaxed on the cage floor, because he doesn't seem to be worried about what's going on. And I think if that's anything, that shows that he's not suffering the frustration that most of Keegan Oliver's opponents have done so far. Most of Keegan's opponents get really frustrated with the fact that they can't work. Daniel Garcia just waiting for his opportunity, waiting patiently for that work.
We're down to less than a minute here in the 3rd round. Remember, 5 rounds here in the championship fight, and a little bit of danger here as we do have that 1 arm in, 1 arm out position. But Keegan Oliver immediately circling away from it to try and stay away from that triangle position and use it as a pass.
Well, and as good a wrestler as Keegan Oliver is, his official gym is the Gracie Baja gym. So well versed in jiu-jitsu, well versed in striking. So far, through 5 fights, we've seen wrestling. But there are other skills and some punches being thrown there.
When he started as a wrestler before going to jiu-jitsu in his career, he wrestled in high school, didn't have that much success. The thing with Keegan Oliver is he is one of those late bloomer types. He's come into his own here as a 23-year-old. And again, some good shots landed by Daniel Garcia, but another round that has to go Keegan Oliver's way. I don't see it any other way.
Yeah, again, landing those punches, and Daniel Garcia now bleeding from the nose, and he'll come out looking hopefully to exchange some more here with Oliver. He does seem to have the reach, Jeremy. His punches are connecting, whereas Oliver's are seeming to set up the takedown. Garcia's trying to land his, and a nice sprawl there to stay away from the takedown of Keegan Oliver.
And we do see some blood, and I think Garcia is taunting him, saying, hey, hit me in the face, hit me in the face. A little bit of gamesmanship, but Keegan's not going to fall for this. And a very smart fighter is Keegan Oliver. I'm going to keep it where I'm good, and he's really good at wrestling.
And again, another takedown up against the cage for Keegan Oliver.
and some blood on the back of Keegan Oliver. Keegan's got some blood coming from him as well, so we don't know where this is coming from. That might be from the nose of Daniel Garcia, but we will see as the fight continues on. And now a very good position here as Keegan Oliver working into back control.
Again, more knees coming, and Oliver not wanting to give up a dominant position, but just circling him. And you see that wrestling background coming in there, Jeremy, as he just circles behind him, holding his back, maybe looking for the opportunity, but again, going to the knees, trying to hit that power base of Garcia and take that away from him. I mean, those are big knees at that point. And regardless of whether or not Garcia is reacting, I'm sure that they're not the most pleasant things to get hit with.
Well, and Keegan trying to work in hooks, and Garcia not giving him the space to do so, but Keegan content to stay on the back, and this is something wrestlers will do. They will stay on the back of their opponent because it's something they work over and over and over again. And again, we see another takedown, and it might be a board frustration, but I can say without a doubt there is some frustration coming from Daniel Garcia.
Again, Oliver now in a guard position, trying to work. And Garcia just handing his hands open as if to say, this isn't going to hit me, and then mugs for the camera. I mean, Daniel Garcia obviously not affected by Keegan Oliver's offense, but at the same time, you got to work and you got to get out from underneath there because you're losing the fight at this point, 4 rounds to 0. And if you don't get a finish in round number 4 in the last 40 seconds here, you're gonna walk away losing a 50-45 fight.
Well, and again, Keegan Oliver, I will repeat it again. He said to all those detractors that said all he does is take guys down, this is pretty impressive. There's nothing to say about this. And if we were watching an MMA fight, or in the UFC, if there were a guy who had 6 fights and he won every fight in this way, nobody would be saying anything.
George St. Pierre.
Wins every fight this way.
Wins every fight this way. Takes his guys down, strikes hard. You can see Garcia scrambling for the triangle there, not able to secure it before the end of round number 4.
We're going to see a very, very active Daniel Garcia. He is going to be hopefully coming out here and trying to win this fight, knowing that he's down 4 rounds to 0.
And you got to think if you're Keegan Oliver at this point, your coaches are telling you to keep a distance. Stay out of his range. Stay away for 3 rounds. If you see the takedown, take it, which he obviously saw there and took it as he tried to come in. Oliver secures yet another takedown. We'll see what Garcia can do on the ground here.
Well, when we had a flying knee and it hit Keegan in the chest, but there's some danger there. If that hit him in the face in a real, I shouldn't say real, in a professional fight, that could have been a knockout. If he knocked him out in this way, it would have been a disqualification.
Yes.
Keegan Oliver would have won. But that landed hard into the chest of Keegan Oliver. The coaches may say, hey, let's get away from him, let's stay away from him, but they may just say, you've been dominating this whole time without doing anything. And now we see finally Daniel Garcia on top, and he was able to switch over Keegan Oliver, and now let's see what he can do from the top.
He's got 2 minutes to get a submission or a knockout, and when you can't hit the guy in the face on the ground, the knockout's not coming. So Daniel Garcia at this point has 2 minutes to finish this fight. You'll see him posture up and step back and hope for some work, and this may be where we see some of Keegan Oliver's boxing come in. Talks about he's got a lot of head movement, a lot of good footwork, and again, that knee came up into the chest, but Oliver secures the takedown, and he's on top again.
What these takedowns are designed to do is Keegan is playing completely safe at this point, which isn't a bad thing when you're up 4 rounds to 0. You obviously want to see a fighter try and finish the fight at all times, but playing safe, and if Beauchamp calls him up after 30 seconds, that's 30 seconds that is gone without your opponent having the risk of damaging
30
you.
seconds closer to a title fight. Keegan Oliver is going to be content to do absolutely as little as possible at this point in the final minute of this fight, knowing that the strap is coming home. And at this point now dropping shoulders into Garcia, again trying to provide some kind of offense, but that doesn't fool Brian Beauchamp. He stands them up, and we are ready to go. Under a minute to go in this 5th round of our first title fight of the evening. Our 125-pound amateur strap is on the line, and knees coming to the midsection, and just a judo throw there from Keegan Oliver. grabbing the head of his opponent, firing him down to the ground, and jumping right back on top of him to finish this fight.
Well, and again, we're down to less than 25 seconds remaining, and I don't think that Beauchamp will call him up in this short a time, but nothing but an impressive performance here from Keegan Oliver. And again, did he hurt Daniel Garcia? Probably not. Did he beat him? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, and with just a couple seconds remaining here in round number 5, Keegan Oliver very shortly will have a title belt wrapped around his waist.